What's up, everybody? My name is Lee Shaner, and you're tuned into You Feel Me. What's up, everybody? Here we are, sitting in front of this icy light blue background with the wavy neon sign, because today's theme is chill. And chill kind of doesn't need a lot of explaining. We picked Bane's World to represent chill because, like, man, your music is pretty fucking chill. It's something that I could turn on and just clean the house to, or vibe to, study to, you know. And so, yeah, we just thought that kind of like nice Southern California lo-fi vibe just fits the chill mood very perfectly. So here we are sitting with Shane.
Hey, guys.
How's it going, bro?
It's good.
Good. Drove up from Long Beach, right? Born and raised there or what?
Yep.
Yeah.
Born and raised.
Tell me about Long Beach. What was it like growing up there?
Pretty mellow. You know, I had a pretty standard high school career.
Yeah.
Middle school was cool. Elementary school was cool. I felt very, centered there. Grew up skateboarding and just around a bunch of really good people, I think. You can find those anywhere, though, but it was really cool.
How did your folks end up in Long Beach? Do you know?
They moved around a bunch, but I think they were in like Artesia right before I was born, and then they just found a house in Long Beach. And
they're Californian as well?
My mom was born in London, and my dad is from, he's from like Central California.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So they just had like the beach in their blood, or what? And they just wanted to get out to Southern California?
Maybe. I think they figured they had already had my two sisters. I'm the youngest.
Yeah.
I think they just wanted to find a place to kind of settle down.
Yeah.
And then we haven't moved since then.
Were you guys closer to the beach or closer inland in the city part of Long Beach?
We're closer. We're pretty close to the beach, but we're also like closer to Lakewood.
Okay.
So it's kind of in the city, but it doesn't feel far because it's like 15 minutes to the beach.
Was it something you grew up like going to the beach all the time?
Yeah, we would go to the bay. There's a nice bay in Long Beach. The water's pretty gross in Long Beach.
Yeah,
but
I take my dog down to the Rosie's Dog Beach in Long Beach. Have you ever been to that one?
Yeah.
It's like a dog zoo. There's just like 1,000 dogs running around, and the water there is disgusting.
Pretty nasty.
Yeah.
But also, on the other hand, you're really close to like Seal Beach and Sunset Beach. It gets better the farther down you go.
Yeah, so did you grow up surfing and shit too?
I didn't grow up surfing, but my high school had a surf team.
Yeah.
And I joined the surf team because I didn't make the basketball team.
Yeah, seems like a fair trade.
Yeah, right? And it turned out to be like one of the best things I ever did.
So you picked up surfing in high school. Stick with it?
I haven't done it in a long time, but it was kind of like almost immediate.
Yeah.
Like I picked it up because I skateboarded, and I was friends with all the seniors on the team because my sister had just graduated and she was friends with them, and they kind of taught me and took me under their wing, and it was just fun and easy, and it was chill.
Yeah. Were they like, hey man, here's how to not be a kook?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly that. I smoked weed for my first time with them.
Nice.
And,
yeah. So you got an older sister?
Yeah.
Any other siblings?
I have two older sisters. One's like,
so you're the baby and you're the baby boy?
Yeah.
How much older are they?
The oldest is 36, and the middle child.
You're just supposed to say how many years older. Now you're not supposed to put your
she's
sister's age on
13
blast.
years older than me, and I'm 22.
Yeah. So there you go. Do the math.
They can do the math.
Yeah.
But I already blew it.
Was your middle sister closer in your age or no?
She is
a few years older.
A few years older.
Yeah. I mean, I guess that I'm trying to figure out the family dynamic. Was it something where they like babied you and babysat you, or were you like part of the peer group of the middle sister, or no?
Well, the older sister, Leah, she would babysit me a lot.
Yeah.
And my middle sister, Karina,
would just bully you?
Yeah, she was evil, kind of, but we're really close now. All of us are pretty close now. I like I love our dynamic. My family's dynamic is really cool. But they would take care of me since there was that age difference. And my oldest sister, Leah, was like just starting to get into trouble when she started to take care of me. So I had to get a new babysitter. But
well, I feel like your oldest sister is in a cool age group to be growing up in Long Beach, because she was probably catching like the tail end of the Sublime blowing up, and No Doubt and all that shit. Yeah. Was she like into cool music?
She was into cool music. She loves actually the year I was born in '96. I think she always says is her favorite year for music. She loves like just to name one, K's Choice. She loves K's Choice.
I know K's Choice. They have a song called I Smoke a Lot. Have you heard that?
No, I haven't. I know there's like the Butterflies one. She likes like Ani DeFranco, like an acoustic She's like Jeff Buckley.
Okay,
yeah. She always pushes that onto me. She's like, you look just like Jeff
I was just
Buckley.
about to say, once you said Jeff Buckley, I'm like, yo, you look like Jeff Buckley, low key.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you do a cover of Hallelujah or what? That's a Leonard Cohen song, but Jeff Buckley killed it.
I've been trying to like perfect my cover of Lover You Should Have Come Over. Okay. But I hear that you'll get in trouble for doing that if you don't do a good job.
Properly, yeah. He has an angelic voice.
Yeah.
Yeah. So was music an early thing for you? Did you pick up on it like as a...
Yeah, my dad was always in bands.
What kind of bands was he in?
Like rockabilly stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Like bluegrass, rockabilly kind of stuff.
Is he all tatted down shit like a straight Long Beach dude?
No, he's not super tatted. He's got a few.
Yeah.
He waited until his mom passed just out of respect.
Okay.
Because she hated him. But there was always a guitar in my house, and we were always like sitting around and singing, and he would play guitar. I didn't learn to play guitar until I was 9. And I asked for one for my birthday, and he's like, all right, let's go. And we went to Guitar Center. We got that like $100 amp guitar deal.
Yeah, totally.
And he taught me I got it home and I didn't know how to play it, and I cried.
Yeah.
I just cried and cried because I was like,
I
thought I would just know how to do it.
Yeah.
And then he taught me like 3 chords, and then when I could come back and play those 3 chords at any like time that he would call them out, he'd teach me 3 more.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like the extent of what he taught me, and then the rest of it was just kind of guitar was in the background. It was something I would always pick up and play, maybe impress a couple girls if I wanted to.
Right.
And I was 18, and my friend Max started a band, and he was recording all this stuff by himself.
Yeah.
And that was like a turning point for me, where it was like, whoa, you can just do this, and you can record stuff, and I got a little more serious about it.
Yeah, so 18 was a turning point, but it was always there in your life. And so, besides your dad being in bands, what were your folks' like careers?
I had a lot of jobs. And none of them.
No, not your jobs. Hold on. What were your parents' jobs?
Oh,
what'd your dad do for work?
My dad is like a contractor for the Navy, and he would do like a lot of contracting stuff. He's kind of like a handyman. He can weld and does a lot of different stuff. And
like a rockabilly handyman. That sounds like a very manly dude.
Yeah, he's a manly guy.
Yeah, right.
I love him.
Was he pushing you into sports and stuff too? Did you play sports growing up?
No, I did. I played like t-ball and soccer. I hated it.
Okay, yeah.
I think I didn't like team sports.
Yeah, if your baseball career ended at t-ball, I would say you didn't actually play baseball.
Yeah, no, I didn't play baseball.
There you go.
But I was never, and he was never like, oh, you got to do this. He was always like, do what you want.
Just fucking chill.
Do what you want and do what makes you happy. And like I found skateboarding, which is like kind of a solo sport, but you're with a bunch of people the whole time, and it's like you're pushing off of each other.
Mm-hmm.
And
when did you pick up skating?
I got my first board when I was like really little, and then I learned how to ollie when I was like 10.
Yeah, right.
And then it just went from there. I was like obsessed.
Yeah, totally.
Obsessing over it.
It is a very like OCD sport.
Yeah,
repetition,
over and over
and
over again.
And failing and getting up again and failing and getting up again. It teaches you how to take a loss to get a win, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, for sure. What does your mom do for work?
She owns a dance studio.
Really? What kind of dance?
All kinds.
All kinds?
Contemporary, jazz, ballet, hip hop.
No kidding.
Yeah.
And so...
Can I plug it?
Yeah, please.
The dance company in Long Beach. Go.
The dance company?
Classes. Yeah.
That's it?
Yeah.
That's
Dance Co.
That's very easy to remember. Did you take a lot of dancing lessons from her?
I took one. I did it for a year. It was a tap and ballet combo.
How was that?
I had fun, I think, when I was doing it. And then after the recital, I went up to her and I looked at her. She always tells me this. Yeah. I looked at her and I go, that's cheesy. And I never wanted to do it again.
That's cheesy. That's funny, man. Your skate homies that you picked up in Long Beach, were they all like kindred spirits, kind of into the same kind of things as you?
Kind of, yeah. Everybody was all into music and like DIY stuff. And we got more into it as we got older, and like it was kind of in the, like I said, in the background, like music was in the background. But yeah, I played guitar with a lot of the people I skated with. I played video games. And
were you guys skating parks or street or
both? Yeah, we have El Dorado Skate Park, like, is in my backyard. And we would go there like every day. That was like every day in the summer, like really? 8 hours a day. Yeah,
that's tight.
Go hang out.
Are there a lot of like house shows in Long Beach stuff? I always look at, like, you just brought up DIY stuff, and I look at that area of Long Beach and South LA as having a lot of like backyard shows, and that's where a lot of this new scene comes from, I think.
Yeah, that's what I started doing. Yeah. That's where I still am super surprised that like I can play shows that have like production value.
Stages.
Yeah, exactly, and they're not gonna get rolled up by the cops.
Right.
And there's still a lot of like art shows and just backyard shows that I'll still go to. They'll pop up, and it's really cool to see that that's where you start.
Yeah. And do you remember the first like house show or garage show that you went to?
First one that I went to. I don't think so.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
No.
Were there any of those type of shows that you went to where you were like, oh, like this is like officially my shit now? Like this is what I live for? Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does make sense. Yeah. I think it was like the first concert that I went to. It might have not been a house show. I think it was Warpaint and like Surfer Blood, and I think the Growlers might have played, but that was at the Observatory.
Okay, yeah.
And that was like, whoa, that was like the first show I went to without my parents. Yeah. And I was just with all my buddies, and I was like, whoa, like, this is cool.
Yeah,
this is really fun.
That little bit of freedom, that first taste of freedom.
Yeah.
How old were you?
15, 16.
So one of your friends probably drove you guys
there?
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, you get to drink a beer or something.
Yeah, no, maybe not.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Oh, well, who knows?
Who knows? I don't remember.
Yeah. So what were you like in school as a kid? Were you a studious kid? Were you into like writing? Were you into reading? Did you take music classes?
I never took music classes, no. I loved multiplication.
Math.
I really liked math.
You're a math guy.
But here, I'll start. I was good in school until middle school. I got a little shaky, but I was never like failing.
Yeah.
And then high school is when I met the kids that were like, hey, don't go to school today.
Yeah.
Like, don't go to school today. Come over and smoke weed. And like, I pretty much like failed 10th grade. Like,
really?
I got like all Fs, and I had to like really hustle to get on track.
Yeah.
And I ended up like realizing like, can't fuck around like that. You know, like I had to do it, and I got back on and did extra packets, and I finished high school. And
nice. So did you have to retake 10th grade, or you just like summer schooled it through, powered through?
I did summer school, and then I didn't end up going to my classes in summer
school either?
Yeah, I would ditch.
What would you guys do when you ditch?
I would ditch by myself. Summer school, I would ditch, and I would like go to the park. I had just started smoking cigarettes, so I was like, ooh, let's go to the park and smoke cigarettes, and I would just be alone. And then the other days where I would ditch, probably just smoke and just be an idiot.
Skipping by yourself, that sounds so like uneventful.
It was, but it was better than going to school for me.
Yeah.
Because I was so far in that hole of already messing up, like being
it felt like an unclimbable mountain or something.
It was just kind of escaping for me.
Yeah, and so what would you do during those escapes? Was it a lot of like sitting and thinking, or would you just work on skating, or were you?
It was like sitting and thinking. I remember this one day specifically where I found like they had comedy on Pandora.
Yeah.
And I just remember walking through the park and smoking. And I'm all about like, if there's something going on that I don't like in my life, I'll push it away and I'll escape it, and I'll just won't think about it. So yeah, it was a lot of thinking, but not about like, if that thought entered in my head, like, God, I'm not going to graduate.
How can I distract myself?
Yeah, I would just instantly lock onto something else.
Yeah, so you just listening to comedy on Pandora?
Yeah.
What comedians did you discover? Do you remember?
I don't remember, no. It was probably just some B-list stuff. But,
right.
But it was
so you managed to get through high school just by the skin of your teeth.
Yeah,
and
was
college an option, or you were just over it?
It was, and I went.
Yeah, where'd you go?
I went to Golden West in Huntington Beach. I just took my prerequisites, and guess what? I started a ditch.
Yeah.
Started a ditch. It wasn't really that I wanted to do it. I did not want to do it.
It's a lot easier to ditch in college too.
Yeah,
nobody's looking for you.
Nobody's telling you what to do.
Yeah.
And I found out pretty quickly that that's not what I wanted to do.
Did you move out of the house at that point, or are you still staying at the house?
I was still at the house. Yeah, I was still staying at the house, and it wasn't something that my parents were like, you have to do this or you're out.
Yeah.
It was like, go to college and have a part-time job, or don't go to college and work full-time kind of a thing.
What was your part-time job?
I think when I was in college, I was working at UPS.
Oh, yeah.
Graveyard shift.
Like in the warehouse?
Yeah.
How's that? Did you wear headphones?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I only had like 3 albums on my phone, so I'd listen to the same albums over and over again.
What were those 3?
King Cruel. It was like a chopped and screwed of 6 feet beneath the moon.
Yeah.
And then some Unknown Mortal Orchestra album, and then Home Shake in the Shower. And I would listen to that every night, over and over.
I didn't know that I didn't know anybody chopped and screwed the King Cruel record. That's
it was pretty sick.
Well, the Unknown World Orchestra record, was it the one with So Good at Being in Trouble on it?
Yep.
Fucking love that album.
Yeah,
it's
dude.
so good.
I loved it too.
I accidentally found out about them because I just went to some show at the Hammer Museum and they were opening for, I want to say Best Coast maybe or something, and I was just like, who is this?
I was super into Best Coast too.
I loved Best Coast. Yeah, their first record was like real, that was fantastic.
That was like just like sad love music. Like, yeah, it really takes me back. Now that I think about it, it takes me back to a time in my life.
Yeah, it's interesting how that wasn't that long ago, but it already seems like a foregone era, you know what I mean? What other bands were like really speaking to you at that point in your life? You remember?
Mac. For sure.
Okay, yeah.
Mac was, I remember my buddy Max showed me Mac.
Yeah.
And two
DeMarco, yes.
DeMarco,
That's what we're talking about.
Mac DeMarco.
Okay.
It like kind of drilled a hole in my brain. Like he made his place in my mind.
Yeah, burrowed deep in there.
Yeah.
What's it like to tour with him then after that?
It's kind of surreal.
Yeah.
You know, and that's another thing that I'm good at is like not getting so in my head about it. Like if I feel weird thinking about it, so I just stop thinking about it.
Yeah.
You know, how far I've gotten, which isn't like really that far in retrospect, or if you look.
Yeah.
It's still really crazy to me that I was just that kid who was watching him, like, and now I play shows with him.
Right. That's sick.
It's really bizarre.
Yeah. So at the UPS, as you're ditching classes during the day and then going to work in the warehouse at night, how was your mental health doing? Were you in a good place? Were you happy, or were you like, fuck, this sucks, I got to figure something out?
I wasn't depressed, I would say, but I was. It kind of had the same feeling of the high school thing. It was like almost an impending doom. Like at some point, I'm gonna have to tell my mom that I don't want to do that, and like I'm gonna have to stop, keeping it a secret. But I wasn't depressed, you know. I think I still had like my good friends, and I was like, that was when I was really starting to record.
So you had already met Max and was starting to like kind of see what he was doing.
Yeah.
What were you guys recording on? What was he working on? That kind of changed.
GarageBand.
GarageBand.
Yeah. I still use GarageBand.
You do.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, what's the home setup like? Are you guys just line into electric guitars and then playing drums on the keyboard, or?
Yeah. Basically that. Yeah. I don't mic up my amps still just because I'm lazy.
Yeah.
And I find that it works just as well sometimes.
Right.
It was super basic stuff. Just like you have a MIDI controller, you have like you don't even have a condenser mic yet. You're just using like an SM58.
Totally.
And it's super basic.
Did you have
stuff.
a mic stand at least?
I did. Yeah.
Because I remember like one of the first times I ever tried recording, like we had an SM58 that we must have bought at Radio Shack or something, but we didn't have a mic stand because that was too expensive. So we like rigged up, like we duct taped it to a toilet paper roll to the desk, and tried to like make a makeshift mic stand. Yeah. And I was like, this has got to be the worst thing. Yeah, I mean, it worked fine.
If it
works. It would tilt over sometimes. We just have to tape it back up. But I mean, anything to get it done, you know?
Exactly. And like when you're so caught, like when you want to do something, you're going to find a way to make it happen.
That's exactly right. Yeah. I really think that with a lot of things in life, if you're passionate enough, you will teach yourself, right? And sometimes if you're trying to pursue, this is bad, and I want you kids to stay in school, but sometimes if you're like pursuing perhaps an art degree or something, oftentimes I pursued an art degree and I look back and I go, if I would have really been passionate about that, I probably would have taught myself, and now I don't use that art degree that frequently anymore because I taught myself to do other shit. Right? So at that point, you're 18, and when you see Max recording, do you instantly go home and be like, okay, I gotta like start shedding myself and doing this myself?
That was like when I sat down and like I was playing in his band live too. Yeah. So I decided that I was going to try to write songs. Yeah. And so I had a couple demos, and then I was like, hey man, do you think you can help me? Like, how are you doing this? And I had no idea what an interface was or anything like that. And he's like, oh, I just have an interface, plug it into GarageBand. And I went to his house, and I was kind of like secretly like, all right, what is this thing?
Right.
Like, taking
Sneaking
notes.
Photos with your iPhone.
Taking notes. Yeah. And I ended up getting my own interface and just kind of starting from scratch.
Just like a little cheapo M audio or something?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It was an M audio interface. Yeah. Just like 2 inputs with the 2 mic inputs. Really bad, but it worked. And that's like what I used for a really long time. And I started making demos and posting them on SoundCloud.
Yeah. When you guys are playing out in what was Max's band called again?
Max Gardner.
Okay,
it's just his name.
It's just his name. Okay, so what kind of shows are you guys playing?
Like almost warehouse shows, but like at like boutique shops or like thrift shops that are like family owned.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. Backyard shows.
Like mostly in Long Beach, or were you guys getting up to LA too?
No, we were just kind of stuck in Long Beach, and then I remember we did one. Our first show was at this rehearsal space that we used to rent. I don't remember what it was called. I think it was in Garden Grove. And we just invited all of our friends, and like our parents were there, and it was just like super wholesome, and like that was like the catalyst.
Yeah. How does that first show feel when you're just like playing guitar in Max's band? Like, did you like catch that wave of like, oh, this is something I love?
Yeah, for sure. But it wasn't like I felt super good about it. Like I knew I wasn't good.
Really?
I knew I wasn't that good at what I was doing. And it was like I would watch other bands and be like, holy crap, like that guitar player is so good, or that person's voice is so good.
Yeah.
And I would just take notes, I would take notes and like really work on it.
Yeah. At that point, had your dad must have taught you quite a few chords by that point. Had you been like kind of practicing on your own and shedding a bit and trying to like get your guitar game up?
Yeah. I had a looper pedal. This was at the time I was working at UPS too. So I would get off work at like 5 a.m. and I would go to the garage and just sit down and like record some chords and then just try to, I don't know theory at all. Yeah. So I would find the boxes myself, like the patterns. And so I still don't know theory, and I'm still memorizing the boxes when I find them. So yeah, I was just kind of learning slowly but surely.
And so just in the garage with like headphones on so you don't wake your parents up?
No, I was going.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's tight.
But I think that I was conscious like about it, because I'm really afraid of making my parents upset, so I wouldn't play too loud.
Huh? Why are you afraid of making your parents upset?
I don't know.
Were they strict disciplinarians as a youth?
I don't like seeing my dad mad because he is a manly guy.
Yeah,
he's kind of scary.
Fucking brute.
He's kind of scary.
Pull off that chain wallet and hit you with it or something.
Exactly. No, it never hit me. But yeah, I don't like them to be upset. I don't want to have to deal with it.
Yeah, right. Thanks for tuning in. Skullcandy wanted to show you some love for listening by hooking you up with 15% off your next purchase. Head over to skullcandy.com and use the code YouFeelMe19 at checkout to get 15% off anything site-wide. Okay, so as you're like shedding in the garage by yourself and getting better at the guitar so that you could go out and impress people with Max's band, you're also starting to write your own music. You know? And this was like full on during the SoundCloud wave. So when you are recording your first songs, are you putting your very first songs onto SoundCloud and stuff?
Yeah, I put them on. Even before I had the interface, let's go back. I recorded it on the laptop mic.
Yeah.
And so I like recorded the acoustic guitar on the laptop mic.
Yeah.
And that's still on SoundCloud. I think it might be on private.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was just directly onto SoundCloud. From like, I would finish a song. The night I finished it, go straight up on SoundCloud.
And were you trying to figure out things in GarageBand of how to like, if you're recording an acoustic guitar into the laptop mic, it sounds like shit, clearly. So are you trying to then like figure out plugins and things to tinker with it? Because
kind of.
I've recorded a few things into GarageBand, and I found that it's not very user friendly as far as like changing sounds and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, there's not a lot of options like there are in FL or Logic or whatever.
Yeah. I think that I didn't really get into like downloading third-party plugins until, I don't know, a couple years ago, but I would really just see what I could do with like reverb or delay that was already there that you can kind of change the parameters in. Because you're right, there's not a lot of like flexibility. There's not a lot of options, but you can do a lot more than you think with it. Yeah. You can do a lot more.
Did it get to the point where when you're recording with that laptop mic, I would imagine there's a lot of experimentation where you're like, okay, if I'm this far from the mic, it sounds different than if I'm this far, and if I put it in this corner of the room, it's different than that corner. Is that something?
I think I tried it. I did that one song, and I got the result. I didn't experiment much. Yeah. But after that one, I was like, all right, I'm never going to do that again.
You got to like figure out something better.
I got to get an interface.
Yeah, right, okay. That's so funny. And did you record vocals into the laptop?
I did,
How do they sound?
Not great, but not terrible, I don't think.
Yeah, well, you put like maybe the buzzy vocal effect on it or something.
Yeah, I use like one of the set plugins. Vocal things. I know they have like a Leslie. It's like a Leslie speaker that spins. Gives it an effect that. Yeah. Plus, I wasn't super confident in my singing, so I always loved to do something that wouldn't make it really sound like me.
Right. Well, I find it interesting because those early experimentations are probably starting to mold what is the sound that you have developed, which probably seems very purposeful to most people, but it's probably just a lot of like happy accidents and stumbling onto like these utilitarian things. Like you're saying, I don't really like my voice, so I put a lot of effects on it, and people go, oh wow, his effects, they're so dreamy and like they're chill, you know? Yeah.
That's funny. I didn't really think about that.
Yeah. Well, because when you listen to Drowsy or when you listen to the newer singles, it's like, oh, this is an artist that has really created a world for his sound. It's like this lo-fi, warm, snuggly blanket of a song, you know what I mean? And that's all just because like
ton of happy accidents.
I didn't like how my voice sounds, so I did this. I didn't like how the reverb on the guitar sounds, so I tried delay or whatever. You know? That's really interesting. So how did the experimentations continue? What was the reaction to that first SoundCloud song? Did people catch on? Were you promoting it?
No, I wasn't really. I think I might have like made an Instagram post like, hey, but maybe I was like more embarrassed of it. I just wanted to kind of start posting stuff. I can't really remember where I was at with it. But I know that the next few songs was where I had the interface and I was promoting it more. I was like, had my SoundCloud in my bio on my Instagram.
Okay.
And I was promoting it. I wasn't like putting money into it or anything, but I would like tell my friends and like, hey, listen to this. And kind of taking a more... giving more attention to like the aesthetic or like taking a picture, a cool picture, and then putting it as the thing.
Right.
As the
kind of creating a vibe around like an aesthetic for the whole the sound and the look to match to each other. Yeah. How did Max react? Was he like, oh, this is super cool? Or he's like, man, what the fuck? I need a guitarist.
No, he was down with it because it wasn't me. I still played with him. He was actually going to leave to college.
Okay.
And so when he left, I wasn't going to move to San Francisco just to play in his band.
Right.
So he left, and it kind of opened up a lot of time for me to figure it out.
Totally.
Yeah.
And Bane's World, was it always Bane's World? Where did that come from?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I know that it is a play on Wayne's World somewhat, and my nickname in high school was Bane, given to me by Max.
Okay. Because your first name is Shane and your last name starts with a B?
Yeah, and he was saying like, I think he was super drunk and he was trying to say my name, or he was just messing around. He was like, Bane Blanchard. And he just said it, and like, that's what it was.
It just stuck.
Yeah, it stuck. They call me Bane.
Yeah, and so Bane's World, was that already your Instagram and everything?
I had to buy the handle Bane's World.
You had to buy it?
Yeah.
How much did they sell it for?
$500.
That sucks.
Yeah.
That troll.
Yeah, it was pretty shitty.
Yeah.
But it was my handle.
It.
Yeah, I know. I'm super glad I got it. But my handle was Bane Blanchard.
Okay. Yeah. And so, how long is it until you're putting SoundCloud songs up where people are like, yo, Shane, like, you're onto something. I'm a fan. Come play my house, whatever. Like, your friends really start being like, oh, this is the truth.
Probably, like, a year after I started doing it, or, like, 6 months. It's hard for me to gauge it now because it kind of was such a slow, gradual thing.
How often were you posting during that year? Was it frequently?
A lot, yeah. I posted, like, 30 songs, I think.
Wow.
In 2 years, I think. It was, like, I was, like, super into it, and I was making a song, and then as soon as I was done, I couldn't wait to get it online.
Right. It's almost like more than a song a month on average, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so you're working on stuff all
constantly.
The time. Okay. And so what other things did you teach yourself? Because like we said, you are like kind of a utilitarian musician, and it seems like you do a lot of this on your own. So not only did you have to learn how to like play the guitar, sing and get your voice sounding to your level of acceptance, but then like there's a lot of environment, or like there's a lot of atmosphere in your music, you know what I mean? So like you're clearly learning how to like tweak drums and bass and keys and all kind of stuff. So what else did you figure out, you know?
I figured out that it wasn't like it's weird because it wasn't like as hard as I thought it was going to be, and it wasn't as easy as I thought.
Right.
So it was like I'll pick up the bass here and I'll play the bass, and that wasn't so hard for me just because my bass lines are fairly simple.
And so you're playing like a string bass, not on keys? Or?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
It depends. They like sometimes I recorded like 2 songs with real drums, and then the rest of them are just keyboard drums, and then I got myself a MIDI controller, and I kind of taught myself keys a little bit, which is still like I still enjoy it a little bit more than guitar nowadays, just because I feel like I learn faster on that now. Cause
what'd you get, like a little Korg or something?
No, it was like a M Audio.
Okay,
an M Audio, just MIDI controller.
Right.
And it was like slow. I would figure out these things that I could do, and then every time I would learn, I'd bring it to the next song, and then I'd learn something else when I was making that one, and I'd take that skill to the next song.
Right. Did the MIDI controller have pads and keys, or just keys?
It had pads, but I never figured out how to program them.
I know a lot of people like to use the pads for the drums and the keys.
I could never figure out how to assign them to each thing.
So you would play the drums on the keys?
Yeah.
Did you figure out how to get like swing on your drums and stuff?
No.
Oh, you got stuff to learn still, buddy.
Yeah, I know.
Crushing.
I do, which is cool.
That's tight. So yeah. I don't know. I just can kind of like imagine, no pun intended, but like Bane's world, like this world of Bane's world, kind of developing over time. And when did you start playing out by yourself, and how did you pull it off? Did you have a band with you off or from the jump?
I can't remember if I did a solo thing before I had a band, but I got together at some point. I got a group of guys together and. Because people were asking for shows. They were like, hey, come, like, we want to see this live. And so got together a group of guys, and we did what we could. And those guys, I don't play with them anymore, but it was still, like, we don't have any venues in Long Beach, really.
Really? I thought there was, like, a lot of little punk rock venues. No?
Kind of, but, like, nothing that is great.
Yeah, okay.
We have, like, I don't mean to diss anyone, but there's,
Would you have to go to Orange County to play then, or what?
We wouldn't even do that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because nobody really was booking us.
Okay,
really.
yeah.
It was like we had to go out. I never did pay to play, but we had to really go out and search for where we were going to play, whether it be like a shitty pizza shop or like in a backyard.
Yeah.
And
but people are asking for the shows, and so you guys go out and play, and the first show, was it like a...
Yeah,
went over well?
Yeah, it went over well. There's a video of it on YouTube, and I look back on it now, and I kind of cringe at myself a little bit. But yeah, that's always hard for me to watch those old videos.
Right.
But it would be like if I was out of a band, I would do it solo. I would kind of do a stripped down guitar singer thing, which seemed to go good. Like people seem to enjoy it, and even when I watch those, I kind of cringe a little bit. It's hard for me to be like, damn, that was good. Especially when you're looking at yourself. You can't really do that.
Of course. But that's that artistic growth. Like, the more that your old shit disgusts you, the more that you've grown as an artist is what it shows, I would think.
Yeah, that's fair.
So, how long is it after you play that first show to when you, like... You put together Drowsy by just having a bunch of songs on SoundCloud and then putting it together. Yeah. And what did you do, like, release it on DistroKid or something?
Exactly.
Okay. And that record kind of, like...
Blossomed,
blossomed. It got you a lot of cosigns. It got you a lot of important spot dates. It got you big tours. So, like, how does it pick up kind of instantly with once you release it, or did it take a little while to get the ball rolling?
I couldn't tell you. I don't even remember. It was like it felt like, because I was living it day to day, and it felt so like it took so long, but I think it happened pretty fast. Yeah.
Do you remember kind of the first big cosign or the first big look or mention that you got?
The Tyler one always sticks out to me. The album had already been out for a while, though. But I think that it was just the numbers that I would see. Yeah. I would go in and, like, my parents were always supportive of it, but they were never like, this is what you're going to do.
Right.
And I remember, like, showing my mom and my dad, like, hey, I got like 10,000 plays in 24 hours. Yeah. And they would be like, whoa, that's really cool. And then my mom kind of developed this thing where she was like, it's just false currency. Like, it's fake. It's fake. Yeah. And then I brought her, like, the first paycheck from, like, DistroKid. Yeah. And she was like, oh. Oh, it's real. Yeah, it's real. And
it's nice when you do all that stuff by yourself, too, because then, like, all that DistroKid stuff just goes into your account. Yeah.
Like, pretty sweet. That's just a sweet deal.
Yeah, people shit on streaming revenue a lot and think that it doesn't really exist, but as an independent artist, it can really be a bread and butter. You know what I mean?
It's great.
Yeah, oftentimes it's more profitable, I think, than touring, because you're not having to, like, pay for gas or pay for this and the other. Like, something that you made for free in your bedroom.
And touring is, like, really bad for my mental, at least.
Really?
It doesn't take it, so, like, just staying at home and, like, being in my comfort zone is good for me.
Really?
And being gone for a really long time is tough.
Yeah. How do you stay sane on the road?
I almost didn't on the super long tour. Like I kind of had a point where I was like really broken down and just like really upset.
Yeah. How did you cope? What did you do? Like,
I just cried.
Did it burn any bridges?
No, not really. I just was sitting in the Motel 6 one day just crying.
Really?
Just crying,
What
man.
city were you in? Do you remember?
I was close to home and we were in Denver.
Yeah.
It was like we were on one of the last legs.
Yeah.
And it was just like, man, this is hard.
Yeah, what was it about it that didn't sit well with you?
Just being away, being away from my family and like the people that I love and the person that I love, and just like not being able to know what they're doing, and they just have to take my word for what I'm doing. And there's a lot of trust that has to be there.
Yeah.
In terms of a relationship. Yeah. And that's tough.
Right.
It's really hard.
So it just took your toll on you. Have you picked up any coping mechanisms or things to help you on the road since then?
I think it really is dependent on the people you're with.
Yeah.
And I have new people with me now, and they're really nice. They're like amazing people.
Yeah. So it feels like maybe bringing a piece of home with you.
Yeah. Like that, and then just not partying too hard and not like getting out of your mind. Really?
Yeah, you got to treat it like every day is not a Saturday.
It's
it
work.
Really has to be work,
Yeah, and like just playing video games and just having a good time and like taking advantage of that pool that's at the hotel and just like doing some R&R.
Yeah, that's cool, man.
Throwing the football around.
What's it like when you get that Tyler the Creator cosign?
It was wild, man. I woke up and like it wasn't even like Instagram likes. It was texts from all my friends. They were like, you gotta look at Instagram right now. Tyler like posted this, and I look at it, and I was just kind of like, oh my god, like I don't know what's gonna happen from this.
What did he post? Like a picture of the?
It was a picture of like his Apple Music and like 4 songs that he had been listening to, and one was like from the Despicable Me soundtrack. Yeah. I don't know it was like a Pharrell song, I think. Right. And then there was like another song, and then there was like my album cover, Drowsy. It was Stay Away From My Baby. Yeah. And it felt so incredible to just be there, because to be on that, I don't know. Yeah. It was an insane
that's
feeling.
One of the biggest like musical influencers of this decade. Yeah. Realistically, like they started cracking in like 2010, and like all through this time, like
kept it going.
Yeah,
hard,
the Flog
Gnaw
Festival is always like the sign of what's up next in music and stuff. So after he posts that picture, does he reach out to you at all?
I think I wanted to get him to a show, and so I was like, hey man, if you ever want to go to a show, like I'll put you on. And he came to one of the shows that we did at the observatory in the small room. Yeah. And he came, and it was just like, holy shit, you came.
That's so tight.
Like, he really came.
Yeah, was he cool?
Yeah, super nice guy. Like, I don't want to. I don't.
No, of course.
Yeah. No, I didn't. I'm just saying I didn't want to be like another fan guy. I didn't want to be super overwhelming. Although I was feeling that inside, I wanted to be like, holy shit. Yeah.
You're like having that internal fan moment, but trying to hide it.
Yeah, kind of, because cool. Like I'm sure he gets super tired of that.
Right, of course.
Like, and he's just a normal guy deep, like inside, and.
Was that kind of same feeling when you meet Mac DeMarco the first time?
Where
you're
crazy.
Like, yo, this fucking guy's music changed my life, and like here I am. Yeah.
That was probably the biggest one for me, because I went to this like, it was his like his album release thing, and he did like a food drive, and I went, and they did it at Unif, and I was currently friends with the owner. Christine, and I was there like all day. He was super busy meeting and greeting, and I was like, I want to meet him, but I'm gonna go, like I gotta get home. And she's like, oh, come, just say hey. And he's like, hey, she was like, this is Shane from Bane's World. And he's like, I think I've seen you on YouTube. And that first was just like, whoa, you have. Right. Like you just recognize it kind of already. And then his girlfriend Kira was like, hey, since it was his birthday too. She was like, hey, since it's his birthday, we're gonna have people at the house later if you want to come
through.
And I was like,
butterflies and like
and like just went and had a really cool hang, and like it was crazy, you know. And the freaking H3 YouTubers, they came, and like I went home to eat dinner and get ready to go to his house, and I was watching their videos.
That's so funny.
And I was sitting in the backyard, and I look, he's like, okay, I'll come get you. And he goes in the house, and like in the kitchen I can see from the backyard, and they're in the house, and I was just like, It was like the craziest day of my life.
So you're having this surreal moment where like all of a sudden the normal guy that you are is now around the people that you watch who also they feel like normal people too,
right.
but there's just eyes on them. But now you're realizing like, oh, I'm a part of this world now. Yeah. Like, that's got to be a very surreal moment.
It was. I didn't really feel like I was a part of the world. I felt more of just like I was kind of a straggler that ended up there somehow.
Right.
But yeah, it's insane.
That feeling never goes away though, bro.
Yeah, I don't think it would.
It never does.
I don't think it would.
Like you're always gonna feel like that's just human nature. Like if you grow up a normal person and you get your fame at a normal time in your life, like you probably just always feel like a straggler. I bet.
Yeah.
I mean, I have no idea.
No, I'm sure you're right. Yeah. I'm not like the most confident person either. So there's always like that self-doubt and like, should I be here?
Yeah. Well, that's like that imposter syndrome. I feel like everybody gets that to an extent. But yeah, tell me about that. Like feeling down on yourself. I'm sure that's something that, or not down on yourself, but like not confident, right? Like I feel like that's something that people who listen to your music would love to hear about you because that's a very relatable thing. So, is it sort of a tough time balancing the fact that you do feel just like a normal down-home dude, and then you're at these shows afterwards and people line up and want your autograph and buy your T-shirts and they're crying and shit? Like, how do you manage that?
I don't know, because it's really tough for me.
Yeah.
Especially like these people want to meet me too, you know, and like I'll never turn them down. And that shows something in itself. It's like that, and I'm getting better with it, you know. It's like I don't want to be like a dick about it, you know. And so I'm working with myself on it, and like it's just something gets in my head, and it's like, no, like you're not what you think you are. You're ugly.
You don't
like,
deserve this.
You don't deserve this.
Yeah.
Like you don't work hard. It is a shitty feeling.
Yeah.
But I'm getting better at it. You know, I'm getting better at like really telling myself like, hey, I did work for this, and like I do something that's like, all right, people
valuable.
like it.
Yeah. Exactly.
And like I love seeing those people after the shows, like and like meeting them and kind of talking to them a little bit and seeing, like they have these great things to tell me. You know, these things that like. I don't want to say that it's like an ego booster, but like it really shows me that like what I'm doing is having an effect on something.
Right. It's a nice validation for the work that you put into it, but it's also just a nice validation as a human that like, you know, you do have a self-worth and the value.
And it's cool to show them back to them like that I care about it.
Right.
You know, totally. I care that you're here.
Yeah. So now Drowsy been out for a while. You started releasing a few singles here and there, and I mean the last single it's huge, millions upon millions of streams, probably over across platforms, more than 100 million streams. Like, so your mom's got to be like, oh wow, okay, yeah, it all does make sense now, right? Yeah. There's a lot of anticipation for a new record, I'm sure. How does that feel? Are you managing with? Is that stressful?
It is.
Yeah.
It's super stressful, especially having those people who are like demanding it now.
Right.
And I have to really tell myself a lot that like I started doing this for me.
Yeah.
And I made the song so I could listen to them, and not to get in my head about what people want to hear. It's like I'm gonna make something that I like. Yeah. And it's always changing, and so if it's not like there's not a continuous line of like from Drowsy to what's gonna come next, like I have to be okay with that, and like I have to be okay with what people are gonna say. Right. And it is scary, you know. It's hard. It's like a lot of pressure. Mm-hmm. It's a ton of pressure, especially with the
fly lands right as you said. There's a lot of pressure. It's like the fucking Omen. So yeah, you've been working though over the last 2 years nonstop, I'm sure. In between touring, you got plenty of time to like work at home.
I do take some time off.
Yeah, of course you have to, because you have to like live life in order to write music. Art is inspired by life, right? Yeah. But I'm sure you have a nice collection of songs starting to accumulate. Yeah. And you've also told me that you've taken the new step of like now you're recording at actual studios. Yeah. Yeah. How's that?
Oh, it was epic. Yeah. It was like for the first time actually 2 days ago. Yeah. So it was like the first time I've ever done it, and like having somebody who like can kind of tell you. So like we brought the song in, and he was like, all right, let's start with that. Yeah. And so we do that. There's like we take the steps, you know. It's not like all googly brain, how I would be if I'm recording it at home. Right. Just super sidetracked. I'll like focus on this part
like
for a long time.
Play with the keyboard for a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. It was like you have a limited amount of time, with this super skilled engineer who like knows exactly how to make it sound great.
Right.
And do it in one take. And I've never done that.
Yeah.
And it was like epic.
Yeah.
It was so cool.
That's tight.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what. We got to get out of here, but I appreciate you taking the time.
Already been an hour?
It's already been just about an hour.
You weren't lying.
I told you, it goes fast.
By.
It goes really fast. I'm trying to tell you. I just popped your podcast cherry. But no, the record, I mean, I'm very much looking forward to it. I love Drowsy, and I'm looking forward to the new one. I don't know when it's going to be out yet because we're recording this early in the year, but I'm sure it may be out already by the time this comes out, but who knows? What song are you going to perform for us today?
You Say I'm in Love.
You Say I'm in Love. That's a fantastic song.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And tell the people where they can find you online.
Instagram, Bane's World.
That you had to pay $500 for.
Yeah, I had to pay.
Yeah.
Bane's World. Twitter, Bane's World with 2 O's.
Yep.
Spotify, Bane's World.
YouTube,
SoundCloud.
all that stuff. Yeah,
Bane's World,
across all streaming
just
platforms.
Google Bane's World, you'll find something that'll lead you to the next thing. It'll lead you to the next thing.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you for the time, Shane. I appreciate it. Yeah, most definitely.
Awesome.
My name is Lee. Some of you guys might know me as Intuition, and you can find me online at It's Intuition across all platforms. And this was You Feel Me, presented by Skullcandy, the podcast where we talk to artists and athletes about life and culture. And that was that. Thank you so much, man.
No problem. Thank
all
you.
Right.